Imagine a world ruled entirely by kings, then imagine one woman who shattered that tradition by becoming a king herself. She wore the royal kilt, the false beard, and ruled not as a queen, but as pharaoh. Her name? Hatshepsut, a woman who dared to rewrite the rules of power in ancient Egypt. For nearly 2 decades, she reigned over one of the greatest civilizations on Earth, expanding its borders, launching grand expeditions, and building monuments that still stand 3,000 years later. But her story didn't end with glory. After her death, someone tried to erase her from history completely. This is the extraordinary life of the queen who ruled as a man. Early life and destiny. Hatshepsut was born around 1507 BCE, the daughter of Pharaoh Thutmose I and his principal wife, Ahmose. From the start, she lived a life of privilege inside the royal palace of Thebes. But Egypt's rules of succession were strict, only men could inherit the throne. When her father died, it was her half-brother, Thutmose II, who became pharaoh. Hatshepsut married him, as was customary in royal bloodlines, and became queen consort. She could have faded into the background of history as just another royal wife. But Hatshepsut was no ordinary woman. When her husband died young, the throne passed to his infant son by another wife, Thutmose III. And that's when Hatshepsut made a bold move. Instead of acting as mere regent for the boy king, she declared herself pharaoh. Not queen. Pharaoh. It was unprecedented. And dangerous. But she did it anyway, becoming pharaoh. To become pharaoh, Hatshepsut had to transform herself literally. She began to appear in public and in temple reliefs wearing male clothing, including the traditional pharaonic kilt and even a ceremonial beard. Her statues showed a muscular male body, yet her name remained feminine. In inscriptions, she called herself His Majesty. Was it disguise? Or defiance? In truth, it was strategy. Egyptians believed their pharaohs were divine. The position wasn't just about gender, it was about balance, order, and cosmic authority. If Hatshepsut had to appear as a man to be taken seriously by priests, generals, and politicians, so be it. But behind the masculine mask was a powerful, intelligent, and visionary woman. And under her rule, Egypt thrived. A golden reign. Hatshepsut's reign, which lasted over 20 years, was one of peace, prosperity, and innovation. She reopened trade routes shut down during earlier conflicts. One of her greatest achievements was the famous expedition to the land of Punt, a mysterious kingdom far to the south, rich in incense, ivory, and exotic animals. Her ships returned loaded with treasures. Incense trees were even planted in temple gardens, a first in Egyptian history. But it wasn't just trade. Hatshepsut was a prolific builder. She commissioned hundreds of construction projects, from obelisks at Karnak to roads and sanctuaries across Egypt. Her masterpiece? The mortuary temple at Deir el-Bahari. Built into the cliffs of Thebes, it's a stunning blend of architecture and harmony with nature. Even today, it stands as one of the greatest structures in the ancient world, a temple fit for a god-king. And Hatshepsut made sure to tell her story. Walls and statues bore inscriptions proclaiming her divine birth, her right to rule, and her loyalty to Ma'at, Egypt's sacred order. She ruled not through brute force, but brilliance, the erasure. But all of this nearly disappeared. After Hatshepsut's death around 1458 BCE, her stepson, Thutmose III, took full control of the throne. And sometime later, a deliberate campaign began. Her name was chiseled out of monuments. Her images were smashed. In some temples, her statues were buried in pits, hidden away like a secret no one wanted to remember. Why? Some historians believe Thutmose III resented being sidelined for so many years. Others argue it was less personal and more political. Future pharaohs needed to show a clean, male line of succession. A powerful woman ruling as king didn't fit that image, so she was scrubbed from the record. For thousands of years, her name was forgotten. But history has a way of revealing its truths. In the 19th century, archaeologists began to piece together broken statues, faded carvings, and cryptic hieroglyphs. And from those fragments, the story of Hatshepsut re-emerged. She hadn't just ruled, she had ruled well. She had outshone many kings who came before or after her. And now she could finally be remembered. Legacy and reflection. Hatshepsut's story is more than just an ancient biography. It's a lesson in power, gender, and legacy. She proved that leadership isn't bound by gender, but by vision, courage, and wisdom. She stepped into a man's world and didn't just survive, she excelled. And even when they tried to erase her, they couldn't. Today, historians and schoolchildren around the world know her name. Her temples still inspire awe. Her mummified body, discovered in 2007, rests in the Egyptian Museum in Cairo, a queen who ruled as king and whose story was reborn from dust and silence. She challenges us to ask, how many stories have been lost because they didn't fit the narrative? How many more queens ruled as kings only to be forgotten? Hatshepsut wasn't the first woman to wield power, but she was one of the boldest. She ruled as a man. She built as a god. And she redefined what it meant to lead. She didn't just wear the beard of a pharaoh, she earned it. Thank you for watching. If Hatshepsut's story inspired you, like, share, and subscribe for more untold chapters from history. Because behind every forgotten name lies an extraordinary life.